Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Now I think the first one when it says, I think most not post time skip. Most of this should have say pre time skip because this is still in the pre time skip, not really post time skip. But I'm guessing it's largely because as the series progress, we're getting closer and closer to post time skip. But anyways,
You have just inspired something for me, Immortal. I'm writing it down in intro topics, but we're just gonna ask Chat because based off this coming from ChatGPT, now I want to know ChatGPT's answers to versus battle questions.
What I will say is that ChatGPT does tailor itself to a certain person, like as it starts learning the person. Like for example, free games ChatGPT will like call him cuz randomly or whatever. Like whatever free game slang says, it'll adopt. So obviously it's gonna adopt biases as well. Because obviously we wouldn't like ask Immortal's ChatGPT, but like hypothetically if we did, it would be biased hypothetically towards whatever Immortal wanted it to be. Also, you can easily convince ChatGPT to believe things that you believe that just aren't true.
Yeah.
Just through bias, but gonna throw that out there. But either way,
we need like we need someone who's never used ChatGPT before to be the one to ask the question, just to see what its gut reaction is.
Yeah. But Immortal, if you wanted to present your topic here.
Yes.
So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get like a gauge on usually the wording of how like the strength difference or how stronger a character is with said techniques or seals or whatever. So it just got me wondering, okay, so sorry. So Boruto when they were training. Hold on. Sorry about that. Sorry. Okay, when they were training, Kawaki literally says that the karma significantly increases their physical abilities. In short, you get stronger because stronger is in bold. Now, I was trying to see if it could quantify something, see if we can get anything out of it. Not saying that it can be quantified at all, just little giggles or whatever.
Yeah.
But I just really wanted to gauge.
This. Boruto's quote-unquote true essence karma scales him to code, and that code should be at the bare bones minimum equal to Delta, if not realistically stronger, because he was using light karma. So the difference between base Boruto and the code arc to beyond Delta, that's something.
That is. Very, yeah.
But continuing on.
Well, I'm guessing in my mind, I thought, okay, how many times would that character get? Like, when we say increase, that's like in math. When we say like increase, we usually associate that with addition, like adding on to something, or when we say what was it, exponential, that's like multiplying in a sense. I was trying to see if I could get something out of that wording.
Okay.
A kind of quantifiable metric.
So this is how I think karma and 99% of abilities and power-ups in Naruto work, that there are going to be some exceptions. But when it comes to karma, I think it's just additive. It's just overlaying Momoshiki's chakra on top of Boruto's / the karma abilities that come with it. But he's just gaining Momoshiki's power added to his. So at currently, like part 1, that might be 100 times stronger than Boruto's base. In part 2, that might only be twice as strong now because base Boruto just got that much stronger. It's always going to be substantial though because Momoshiki himself is strong. Like unless Boruto becomes Shibai level, then it's kind of like negligible at that point. But like the point is, there's always going to be a lot. But the amount of multiplicatively increase is going to go down over time because it's just an additive boost. That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, numbers are
A
weird.
good example though would be
once you
Sasuke's
get
curse mark.
percentages.
Jirobo says he gets 10 times stronger when he uses curse mark too. Sasuke's curse mark should be at least as good, even though it's supposed to be better. Sasuke, when he gets the curse mark in part 1, he's noticeably stronger, like a lot stronger. But then in Shippuden, when he's using it versus Deidara, yeah, he gets stronger, but you can barely tell. He's not getting 10 times. He's not going from being relative to Deidara to 10 times stronger than Deidara. No, he goes from being relative to Deidara to being relative to Deidara. It's helping, but it's not helping that much.
I will say, just because they say 10 times stronger, that doesn't mean it definitively is. They could just like feel 10 times stronger when really it's like a 20% increase, or like 120% as strong.
It's also possible too, whether you want to take the numbers at face value or not. Yeah. I will also add though, in Jirobo's case, it specifically was his physical strength. In people like Sakon and Ukon's case, I think in all their cases, their battle ability probably increases by that 10 times. But in Sakon and Ukon's case, I think it was very much their abilities got way more complex and difficult, in addition to the speed and strength increase. Tayuya, her genjutsu got better, and so on. Not all of them are necessarily just getting the Jirobo physical strength increase. That's all he got, basically.
Yeah, well, I'm sure the curse mark does amplify all their abilities, just not to the same degree. Like, I think
Yes,
Tayuya isn't
Jirobo
getting...
is all physical. That's just all.
Yeah, like Tayuya isn't getting 10 times faster in her fight versus Shikamaru or anything crazy. But I think for Sakon and Ukon, part of what it did, rather than making them stronger, it did make them stronger, but part of what it did to like supplement their strength, aka they're not getting as much stronger as like someone like Jirobo would be doing, to supplement their strength, it's giving them access to abilities that they otherwise wouldn't be able to perform. Higher level
like it just made their ability way more complex, basically.
Not even complex, but like access to abilities that they otherwise wouldn't be able to do. Like hypothetically, rather than spawning like 3 Rashomon gates as opposed to 2, well, they just weren't able to access the Rashomon at all before. It's like a hypothetical.
That's true, yeah. Shinomaru's kind of similar in his case. He gets like better arrows and better eyesight, and he can do new things with the arrows, like make it curvy and do that thing. Ugh.
Yeah. You get the idea.
Yeah. So when Kawaki says significantly increases, you think it's a little vague?
Yeah, well, also Kawaki just doesn't actually know what karma really is. So
Yeah.
To him, he might just think, oh, it makes you 10 times stronger. When in reality, he just doesn't realize, oh, I have Ishiki Osusuki's power. That guy's god level, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
You think
Kawaki
baseline
says
karma
it sounds cool.
Do you think baseline karma activation kind of makes you at least 2 times stronger?
Depends on the user's base.
Because I would say, let me think. Because Kawaki, if you said it's based off
difference for Kawaki than it does Jigen, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Kawaki, he's pretty much a cyborg. He has access to nanotechnology. I think Abato did implant nanites into a system, which allows him to, create these little constructs out of his arms, including using them for defensive.
If you're talking Kodachi or Ikimoto.
I feel like Kodachi.
So that is what Kodachi wrote, yeah. But if you ask Ikimoto, it's probably Shibai cells.
It shouldn't be Shibai cells, but I don't.
Agree.
That's.
It shouldn't be, but it probably is because according to Abato, he didn't create anything. He only transplanted Shibai cells.
If that's the case, I feel like Kawaki should have unlocked the Shibai Shinjutsu a lot earlier than expected, but I don't know.
Well, he could have just not awakened one the same way that like Boro and them didn't. We don't know
why would he need limiters
to awaken one. So,
well, why would Kawaki even need limiters if that's the case? Or maybe
because Ishiki's supposed to be that strong, so
that's interesting. Okay, so going back to the question at hand, Kawaki does have access to, ninja tech. He pretty much can create constructs out of his arms, offensively and defensively, and he also has access to karma, which should also increase his baseline abilities. So you think it's like a times or 2 times increase?
For who and what point in the series?
Kawaki. Like we're talking like beginning of the series when he's first introduced, and we see him just go toe to toe with Boro or Garo, not Garo. Sorry, yeah, Garo. I keep getting it mixed up with Garo from One Punch Man.
Well, even that one though, when he did that karma amp just was using the beginner's luck thing. It just was stronger than all of his karma amps. Technically, if I'm going to be pedantic about the power scaling artistic depiction, still stronger than the Kodark. He just does more damage with that explosion.
Mm-hmm.
Objectively does more damage.
Yep.
So, yeah, he was really strong there.
Yeah.
Stupid.
All right.
Well, Immortal,
So-
what numbers do you think it is?
Me, I feel like it could be like a 2 times amp. Because
I
adding
think
karma
that one in particular
onto
was over 2 times.
yeah, 2 times or over that, which would be borderline. Which, if we include training with the karma, would increase that amp, would increase that boost a little bit. Now, I feel like and then when we look at like True Essence Boruto and then Kawaki going into his karma seal like during the code arc, like when he regains it and has more and is even stronger than he was before.
Yeah.
Where do you think that boost could be if you were to range between like let's just say 5 and 15?
The problem is because chakra is physical, mental energy, anyways, and that just is linked to performance, anyways, regardless of that aspect of it. Just like in sports, your physical and mental are still linked, your brain and body are still linked. To an extent, you could argue someone's mental state could not only amplify themselves in a literal sense whenever they use karma, it could even change the amplification amount of karma itself. Which is so weird to say, but it's totally possible in my opinion. Like, not even like saying access to higher forms of karma through your heightened emotions, but like Jigen V1 karma versus Jigen V1 karma going all out. Obviously, the going all out one's gonna be stronger, but like, regardless of their mental, like, the karma seal's amplification itself just might be stronger in that second instance, depending on if this even applies or not. So it really gets muddled if you include that as a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you have to go like on a case-by-case basis on what the multiplier even would be. Or even over time, the multiplier could increase. Like for Dragon Ball Super Saiyan, like just Super Saiyan 1, it just gets stronger over time. Not in terms of like the characters, but the multiplier itself. They have different grades for like however much you master Super Saiyan or whatever.
That's why I kind of feel like the best way to look at it is just to consider the percentage of karma to be like, okay, they got the horn out, they're probably using at least 75% of karma, depending average again 100%. So that's just 75% of Ishiki's chakra being used. Okay. I'd probably just look at it more like that than I would in terms of multiples, because if it's multipliers, man, I don't even know where to start.
Exactly.
Boruto's not written like that. They don't say, oh, I'm using 50% of my strength, or now I'm 2 times stronger than before, I'm 10 times stronger. Well, like, they don't give you those numbers. It's just not written for power scalers like that. So
pretty much Ikimoto doesn't. Yeah, I don't think Ikimoto cares about scaling.
Oh yeah, I know he doesn't
sense.
care about scaling based on this arc, but
yeah,
that's way funnier than it should have been.